And there we are. It is a Thursday morning, and we are off, and we are running. It is another brand-new live edition of Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN, the Zone, the fourth and final day.
Another arduous journey, Scott.
Of SEC Media Days is upon us, the final day. Now, in case you are wondering, 37 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 57 seconds until the start of the college football season, down to a T, and coincidentally, it'll start right here in Nashville.
Against the Hawaii 5-0s, man.
Vanderbilt in Hawaii will kick the season off now in 37 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 37 seconds. We are counting it down. Anyway, 2 hours and 4 minutes until everything gets back underway here in Nashville for the fourth and final day. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, they will be up at 9:05 this morning. You'll be able to hear Lane Kiffin over our airways here at 97.7 ESPN, the Zone. Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee, the three final teams to close out SEC Media Days 2023 here in the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Nashville. Those are the three remaining.
Yeah, I mean, three interesting stories. Lane Kiffin and what he's done at Ole Miss has been very interesting. No doubt about it. This is going to be year 4. Hard to believe already. He's one of these. He's so unconventional with how much he's analytical, going for it on fourth down at his own 11-yard line. The quarterback situation, he totally restocked their room, and the way, he's decided to handle it. It's just, it's really, really interesting. I mean, and he arguably may have one of the top 3 or 4 players in the SEC overall when you're talking about Quinshon Judkins. Judkins is got to be the top running back coming back in the league.
Right.
I mean, he's just a sophomore. And then, of course, is he going to get more out of Michael Trigg? Because, I mean, I'll be honest. Last year when we were in Atlanta, I was championing Trigg as a breakout guy because I thought, Lane spreads the ball around. He's used the tight end very well, like O.J. Howard at Alabama. And, I thought that Trigg, when he came from USC, might be a mismatch guy. He didn't really do a whole lot, but he's still on the team. Is he going to be better this year? They've got to replace Jonathan Mingo, who's off to the NFL. And so it's going to be, and then he brought in, Walker Howard from LSU as a quarterback. He certainly he brought in of course the transfer high profile from Oklahoma State as well, who had a good spring. So and so, but it all points back though. Everybody's still telling us Jackson Dart, and it's interesting because that's a similar. If that happens, it's a similar dynamic to what we've been talking about, and we're going to talk about in a minute about Alabama.
Spencer Sanders, the quarterback from Oklahoma State.
But what I'm equating though is, if Spencer Sanders doesn't win the job,
right,
it'll be similar to if Tyler Buckner doesn't beat out Ty Simpson or even Jalen Milroe. We'll see.
You think so?
But I mean, Sanders could still win this job. The best way I can put it with Jackson Dart is it's tenuous. Is he going to start the first game? Very likely. But say that he has a horrendous half against Tulane.
Is he always going to be looking over his shoulder?
That's what I'm saying.
Because of the guys on the bench.
He's going to be short.
Okay.
Say they're losing 17-7 in the first quarter to Tulane, and Pete Golding's schemes are not working out. And we've seen that in the first half especially. Then I could see Spencer Sanders having to put on his Superman shirt and then getting a shot.
Are you saying there's going to be some nervous moments for Ole Miss fans watching the Rebels defense?
I'm just going to say allegedly when you go to games and you sneak in all these miniatures, you might want to take some extra ones every now and then.
some Malox as well?
Maybe. You might have to use that at halftime if you've had a Polish hot dog or something.
Oh, or a jalapeno brat.
Oh, well, we didn't have those yesterday.
We had those the day before, though.
But I had a 4 a.m. steak call. I can tell you that.
There we go. Okay.
And I didn't wake up John and the Czar.
Well, there you go. That's good to know. I'm sure everybody at home is happy to know that as well. I was going to go with something. I mean, anyway, we reset because Drew has.
That's a great way to put it.
There
Scott.
we go.
That's why you're on television.
South Carolina, they're here as well. And Shane Beamer will be here. It wasn't too long ago that we were sitting in the lobby of the Winfrey Hotel, and we came away impressed with two guys, Clark Lee and Shane Beamer, because they're making their first-year rounds at SEC Media Day. Shane Beamer was very good, handled it like a pro his first year. Now he's back. And I think the conversation around Shane Beamer has got to be a little bit different. And I'm not talking about being on the hot seat different. I'm talking about expectations for South Carolina. They have Spencer Rattler, who was a high-profile transfer out of Oklahoma. He's back. He's actually here today.
Right.
He's already won 7 Heismans by the time he got to South Carolina. But anyway, he is here today. Is the narrative around South Carolina today different than what it has been in any of Shane Beamer's years?
I think so. And I know they didn't win the bowl game over Notre Dame, but it was a very competitive game, a high-scoring contest. But the thing they did do down the stretch, and it defined their season, is they knocked Tennessee out of the college football playoff. Because, Scott, we all talked about it. Tennessee just had to win, and you're in. And they would have got in as not even a division champion or a conference champion. They're going to get into playoff because they got one loss.
Right.
And so that one loss would have been to unbeaten Georgia. But, South Carolina won that game. And I firmly believe they took that momentum, and that's why they got the comeback win over Clemson.
That was a huge win. Huge win.
Those back-to-back wins defined that season and completely turned it around. Because remember, they played horribly against Florida.
They did.
Horribly. And Spencer Rattler played terrible. A lot of people thought he was, once again, just like he did at Oklahoma, where he lost the job to Caleb Williams. Everybody's thinking, this guy's never going to get it. And then they come out aggressively against Tennessee. They shred Tennessee. And then they come back and get that dramatic win on the road at Clemson. And so I just think it really defined their season. Takes a ton of momentum into this year for Shane Beamer. I mean, the bowl game would have been great too, but I don't think it stopped the momentum at all. And now they've got Spencer Rattler coming back, and, hey, he had no choice in my opinion. He has not put together a full season of consistency, even though he was the number one quarterback in the country by a lot of people coming out of Arizona about 4 years ago. He does need to be consistent, and I'm sure Shane Beamer will get a lot of questions about that. But certainly I think South Carolina's program is definitely trending in the right direction.
Spencer Rattler down the stretch last year. These were his last 3 games for South Carolina. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions against Tennessee, 438 yards through the air. 360 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions against Clemson. And then the bowl game, he threw for 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception against Notre Dame. So if you add those up, you get 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's not a bad mix because, as we were told, earlier this week, if you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. You got to throw the ball down the field. Spencer Rattler did that. Those numbers not bad. Really, you go back to Vanderbilt. He didn't have anything against Florida. 145 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
That was their low point.
Yeah.
And then that's why nobody really saw the route coming of Tennessee. I mean, including myself. I thought the Vols would win that game. I really thought they were going to the playoff. I thought the SEC was going to get 2. And then it just all fell apart. And then it really changed the narrative and the momentum for Shane Beamer.
The final team here today is the Tennessee Volunteers, making that short drive over from Knoxville here to Nashville. Josh Heupel will be here. Joe Milton III will be here. Omari Thomas and Jacob Warren. Those are the Vols that'll be here. Interesting to hear from Joe Milton and, just Josh Heupel in general.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we see if Tennessee can reload because they won the Orange Bowl. They went 11-2, Scott. They had a great season. They beat Alabama for the first time in 15 years. which was their high point. The only game, I know they got outplayed, but they kept battling against South Carolina. The only game they got dominated was Georgia,
right?
Physically and at the point of attack. So they made some huge strides. And I last year at this time, I thought they were still going to be a 7-5 type team like the first year. Didn't know if they had enough depth or athletes, but Hendon Hooker made such a jump with his development and became, I think, the best QB at Tennessee since Peyton Manning, in my opinion. And I know he got hurt, but even if he hadn't got hurt, I still don't think the geniuses that vote for the Heisman, I know you're one of them, but I'm not throwing you under the bus, because didn't you vote Hooker in your top 3?
I did.
See? You were smart enough.
I
knew
did.
You were. And there's a lot of people that they left him off completely even after he got injured. But
there's a lot of people that left him off after the loss to Alabama, or the win against Alabama, I should say.
Well, he and Bryce Young both should have been finalists. I think they were the 2 best quarterbacks in the country, better than the guy that won the Heisman against nobody. He couldn't beat Jelaine.
Well, he's got nobody again this year too. So
we talked about how good the quarterback play is in the Pac-12. You want to know why? Because they're throwing against air. We talked about air last night at the restaurant.
And you had a lot of air at 4 a.m.
What are we, an hour going back there? Here we go.
It is a full circle, and we're going to flush that circle down right now because we're going to get a break in. When we come back, we're going to check in with Nick Saban. We're going to hear what he had to say about the quarterbacks yesterday as Alabama had their rounds here at SEC Media Days.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talkin Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on the same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear, give Talkin Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talkin Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talkin Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talkin Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Coming.
And again, big thanks to Bill Penny Toyota. They are our fourth and final day sponsor here of Talking Ball. Bill Penny Toyota, certified Toyota dealership, serving drivers throughout Huntsville and the surrounding areas. You're going to find a solid selection of new Toyotas as well as carefully inspected lineup of pre-owned vehicles. They also are well-connected finance center. They've got a great service department, and you can also rent a Toyota if you need one while your car is in there. Don't forget the service department is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yesterday, Nick Saban in the house, the coach, talking about his quarterbacks, and here is what he had to say.
Obviously, the number one that people are most interested in is the quarterback. We had a great quarterback, won the Heisman Trophy. Bryce did a fantastic job for us. So we have three guys that are competing for that position right now. All those players are getting better, and it's important for us that all those players get better. I don't think anybody has actually separated themselves yet to this point, and I don't think it's something that we're trying to rush. I used the analogy earlier. You know, Grandma Saban used to bake the best cakes in the world. And I used to stand by the oven when I was a kid and say, when's this cake going to be done? When's this cake going to be done? And she said, if I don't let it go through and take it out of the oven too soon, it's going to turn to mush, so it won't be a really good cake. So I think we got to let this sort of develop and make sure we let the cake bake until somebody separates themselves. And all the players are working hard. They all have a good attitude. They're all competing well. At other positions on offense, we probably, I think, are improved.
Takeaway from that there.
Well, I mean, no surprise. I mean, that's why Tyler Buckner was brought in, because after A-Day in April, there was no separation between, or not enough anyway, between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson.
Okay.
And, you know, with Coach Saban and the coaching staff putting their heads together, Tyler Buckner had lost the job to Wake Forest transfer Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. I think Coach Saban's thinking, well, okay, by the time when fall camp gets here, the loser of this job, if it's Ty or Jalen Milroe, and even if it's Buckner, but one of those two at least is going to leave. And I think what they didn't want to get caught with is while they're talented, Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein, they're true freshmen who have never played. Now,
right.
Ty
Saban
Simpson
kind of alluded to the fact yesterday that you got to have a backup. You have to have a backup with a little bit of experience in there. He alluded to even last year. Used that as an example.
Yeah, Ty Simpson, has not played any meaningful snaps.
Right.
Milroe has played a little bit. But again, with all the movement at the QB position, you got to believe one of them's leaving. So you wanted to have somebody at the very least, if he's not the starting quarterback, that has played, and to top it off, Tyler Buckner was recruited by Tommy Rees. He knows him very well, and so they needed some familiarity there. And I think that's why they brought him in to compete.
Okay.
And he'll have a shot to win it. But I think we all know. I know Coach just mentioned 3 quarterbacks. It'll be 2 quickly. And whichever one, and to me, one of the 2 that drops out will either be Ty or Milroe. They're going to leave. And so
But you like Ty Simpson, though, right?
I like Ty. That's who I would strap my wagon to. I know he didn't have as good a spring as they hoped. And A-Day was a little disappointing, but you got to also take it into context that he had broken his thumb. We didn't know that till afterward.
Right.
He hit it on a helmet. I thought he threw the ball pretty well considering that. Thought he made some plays. the scrimmage buzz. He made some plays. The one thing that both quarterbacks did, though, and I think that's one reason Buckner was brought in, is the turnover issue both had. Yet Buckner had turnover problems last year, and that's why one of Coach Saban's messages yesterday was to play winning football at the position. And what that translates into is do not beat yourself.
Right.
And whoever does the best job of that is going to have a chance to be the starting quarterback for Alabama of those three young men.
Should we be concerned, and this is just in my head, should we be concerned that Notre Dame brought in Sam Hartman to shore up their quarterback position because Tyler Buckner couldn't get it done? Is that how we should look at that? And that
Buckner was hurt. He missed the majority of the season, and then Pine transferred to Arizona State. And so Notre Dame wanted to upgrade the talent at the position and the experience, and they knew a guy was going to leave. And then it turned out two of them did.
Right.
And Hartman was one of the more sought-after transfers, Scott, because he was as good as any quarterback in the ACC last year and had Wake Forest contending for an ACC championship.
Well, yeah, that's what
in ECW, which is the Bush Leagues. But I'm just telling you.
So Notre Dame upgraded their quarterback position.
Yeah, I think Sam Hartman's a really good player.
Right.
And, but I think that Tommy Rees believes in Buckner, and I think that's why they went to get him. And besides, when they did it, a lot of these QBs, like a Hartman, had already made their decisions. The funny thing about the buzz, though, is before Hartman committed to Notre Dame, and even after he did, there were still people telling me, well, what Alabama could try to get involved with him. And remember, I don't know how much validity was to it, but remember the situation at Miami with their starter
Tyler Van Dyke.
Yeah, Tyler Van Dyke, and supposed Alabama interest there.
Right.
But that one didn't make as much sense to me because there wasn't a connection with Rees, and Van Dyke was good 2 years ago, not so good last year. And I didn't think Miami would turn him loose, and they didn't. They stepped up the NIL because he had gone through their whole spring as their starting quarterback. You're back to square one if he leaves.
Well, lots of times on those high-profile transfers, if you just take a second, step back, and connect the dots, you're going to find some kind of connection there somehow, some way. Nick Saban not done there. Here is another moment from the coach, just talking about his team this year in general.
Right. Well, we're never a shoe-in for the championship. We always have question marks about our team. Sometimes you all don't recognize them as clearly as what they might be, just like last year's team. Yeah, we had a great quarterback coming back. We had a great player in Will Anderson on defense. We had a lot of question marks on our team, but that gets overlooked because you have these two star players at critical positions. And, this year, maybe we don't have those kind of impactful players at those critical positions, so it's very challenging to develop the team so that they can compete at a high level. We have some experience coming back on both sides of the ball, and we also have a lot of new young players who can contribute in a very positive way to our team. But every year is challenging. Every year is. And no matter what's happened in some other year, at some other time, in some other circumstance, it's not going to impact this year. The people on this team, the coaches on our staff, are going to do what they can to try to impact this year in a positive way in terms of what we want to accomplish and what we want to do.
And that, I've said that earlier this week. Everybody's, that was, Feinbaum's take, and why he was talking about Saban's legacy would be affected because he said, well, he had two of the two best players in the country last year and didn't win a national championship. Hello, you need, 36 guys.
Well,
you need depth too. Just because you have the two best players doesn't guarantee that you're going to win a championship. That sometimes the most talented rosters don't win it. In some ways, people would have said Georgia was more talented than Alabama in 2017, but they didn't win it.
Ohio State's roster last year was very talented. They did not win it.
They have underachieved more than any team in the country. If you want to go, if you want to just,
if you go by that,
If you look at who they've put in the NFL, all these quarterbacks and receivers, they've won one national championship. They won it in 2014 since they've had bars on the helmets. I think before that it may have been 68 or something.
Right.
They haven't won anything. Oh, and I'm sorry. I forgot about
Urban Liar.
No. Urban Liar was 2014. I forgot about 2002 when Willis McGahee blew his knee out.
Down there in Arizona.
And then Otis the Buck. The ref through that late
pass interference call.
To give them a new life so they can win the game.
Boy, things went downhill for Tressel after that, didn't it?
Yeah, Tattoo Gate.
Whoo! Where's he at?
He is the president of the University of Youngstown State University, where he used to coach.
That's right.
He's like he's the messiah there. He won all those national championships at Youngstown, and he's always been like a politician. So
yeah,
he's the president of Youngstown State, as far as I know. So.
All right, 256-576-4977. We believe the phone lines are open, but we're going to hit a pause button. Well, I don't know. Let's get a pause in. Let's get a 2-minute break in. Of course, day 4 of SEC Media Days brought to you by Bill Penny Toyota. More from the Grand Hyatt when we return.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talkin Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on the same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear. Give Talkin Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talkin Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talkin Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talkin Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There you go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drudy Armand with you. Before that break, we were hearing from Nick Saban. We will hear more from the Alabama contingent as they were here in Nashville yesterday at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in downtown Nashville. But coming up later today, South Carolina will be here. Shane Beamer, Spencer Rattler. We're going to hear from them all. Going to hear from the Gamecocks as they arrive later today.
Yeah, we are, and it's always great to hear from our next guest. We try to catch up with him every year here. He's been with me since the beginning of the show. Great guy, and that's David Cloninger of the Post and Courier in Columbia, South Carolina, and he's here to cover the game. I've been here all week grinding, getting ready for this SEC football season. David, what's up, man?
Not bad, Drew. You guys doing all right today?
We're doing good.
It's the fourth and final day. Of course,
everybody's a little punchy right now.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Some better than others.
Just hook up an IV drip to that coffee machine.
Yep.
Well, hey, punchy is a good term because the last couple of punches, I'm not counting the bowl game. It was everybody, especially with all the transfer portal and the guys that opt out. But the end of this regular season defines South Carolina's year last year for Beamer in year two. I know the low point to me was Florida.
Oh.
They were just it was a low ebb. There was a lot of frustration, but they took it out on Tennessee. And then I still think they took that momentum and they had the comeback against Clemson. You know, you're very well versed in that rivalry. How big was those last couple of games for South Carolina?
Oh, I don't know if I can accurately describe just how momentous that was. I mean, you can look at the numbers, Drew, and it was the first time in program history they'd beaten top 10 teams in back-to-back weeks. And, of course, when one of them is your rival and you haven't beat them in 8 years and you've watched them win 2 national championships in the meantime, you did it on their field and broke a whole number of streaks. They'd won 40 in a row at home, like 38 in a row while leading at halftime, and all of a sudden it was over, and you thought, well, they did it. I can't believe it, But you're absolutely right. Coming back from Florida, 38-6, just a horrible game, and there was no real explanation for it other than Shane Beamer just patiently saying, guys, we had a bad day. We had an awful, terrible day. And something switched that week. I don't know if they just got and said, the heck with the game plan, we're just going to go out there and let it rip. Maybe it was Tennessee's defense allowing them to do that. And then, of course, against Clemson, it was they took advantage of every one of the Tigers' mistakes. But those 2 games define the season. You end up getting an 8-win season. Yes, it would have been great to have 9, but they played Notre Dame with a third or a quarter of their starting defense out. Yeah. So it was like, well, okay, it happened, and they lost by a touchdown. But you saw forward progress, 7-6 first year, 8-5 the next year, and you did something that hardly any coach ever can do in back-to-back games, which is beat Tennessee and beat Clemson. They used to call that portion of the schedule, along with Florida, the Orange Crush, because they just couldn't do anything against it. And now Shane Beamer got 2 of those in his second season.
We were talking earlier that Shane Beamer in South Carolina come to SEC Media Days a little bit different now. It's not, well, let's give them a pat on the back and let him, this is going to be a great story if they can win 7 or if they can win 8. They come here now with a little bit of expectations. You got Spencer Rattler back, and albeit a roller coaster Rattler still. I mean, after 7-8 years of college, it seems like, but it's still a little bit of a roller coaster. But they come here, I think, though, with a little bit of different. People are looking at them a little differently. Now it's, hey, we've seen you win 7, we've seen you win 8. We want to see you do that again. We expect you to now do that again.
Absolutely, Scott, and it's one of those where you looked at the teams like, okay, first-year coach, new guy, see what he can do, but he did so much better than expected. And then he managed to improve when really it looked like all was lost. So this year you look at it, and it's kind of weird. The schedule is just brutal. You got 2 home games in the first 2 months, and then you do get to finish all of November at home, but you got to get there first. And then you look real good on the offensive side, except that you don't really have a running back. And on defense, it's like there's enough pieces there to feel good about. So it's like, what's in store for this team this year? And I think it starts with that opening game, facing an offensively brilliant North Carolina team in Charlotte, but doesn't have a defense. And then you have 3 more games after that, which is Furman, Mississippi State at home, and then at Georgia. So I look at that and I'm like, well, you're either going to be 3-1, but I can see 1-3. Maybe a 2-2 is kind of salvageable, but it's like if you start 1-3, it's going to be, okay, what's going to happen here? But they've got enough senior leadership back, and I know it's hokey and coach speak, but these kids truly believe in what Shane is doing and what he's selling, and I know that results help that. And not to say that Will Muschamp's kids didn't fight under him, but it just wasn't the same kind of belief.
Well, and I know he came from the FCS level, but Juice Wells was the real deal, obviously. And it's going to, and a lot of the offense is going to center around him. But is he? I haven't heard too much talk about him this week. Is he kind of one of these guys that's still flying under the radar? I
don't think so. I mean, everybody knows that he's going to be Spencer Rattler's favorite target. Just a little inside information: he hasn't had the best of off seasons, and I hope he's not over there getting fat and happy with NIL deals, because at last count he was leading the entire SEC in NIL deals, which I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. But he knows what he can do once he gets out on the field, and he's got, the breakaway speed. Obviously, those last 2 games, he was tremendous in catching everything that Spencer Rattler threw to him. So he's not going to sneak up on anybody. He is the leading returning receiver in the league, at least if you go by regular season numbers. And the only guy above him was Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee, who won the Bletnikoff Award. Yeah. So, you look at that and think, all right, well, with Rattler and with Juice Wells and with Trey Knox from Arkansas coming over, and well, that's 3 pretty big pieces right there in the passing game. But as I said, right now, guys, they have 3 scholarship running backs.
Oof.
That's it. One of them is Juju McDowell, who's 5'9" and 180. He can make a lot of things happen, but you don't send him into the line more than 5 times a game.
Right.
One of them is DeCarrion Joyner. Multi-use tool, but it's like, well, he's played receiver. Can he be an every down running back? And the other is a transfer they got from Newberry College in South Carolina, Division II, where he was a D2 All-American and a finalist for the Harlow Trophy, which is like their Heisman, but D2. So those are the 3 scholarship guys that they have running the ball, to which I look at and like, Spence, you going to throw about 60 times a game this year?
I mean, I don't know. Does he try to bring someone in before the fall?
He did. And in fact, the main target was Logan Diggs, who ran all over them in the Gator Bowl at Notre Dame. But as soon as it said Diggs is from Louisiana, and as soon as it said, well, last year's recruiting him, I thought, well, that's over.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was. They recruited a young man from NC State. He decided to go to Kentucky instead and be the next Chris Rodriguez. So they tried, but they missed, and it's just going to be I should have said they've got 4 backs. A true freshman, DJ Braswell, is coming in, and he's going to have to play just because they got nobody else. But they tried, and they just couldn't get it done this year.
Well, and what is the optimism with the new OC, Noel Loggins? I mean, he's from the NFL, got some NFL. Are they going to change anything stylistically? What do you expect them to do?
It's going to be a weird question, Drew, just because, well, I said that they don't really have an established running game. And while you can go in, there's a lot of things in the passing game you like, especially with Trey Knox. Dowell worked with him, was his position coach at Arkansas. He's never called a college offense before.
Wow.
And that's where a lot of the criticism came from, to where it was, maybe this guy will turn out to be good, maybe he won't, but Shane was saying there's so much interest in this program. We got a lot of interest in this position. I thought, that's the guy you hired? Okay. I mean, and Shane got testy about it, saying, you guys don't know, and you need to talk to Sean Payton and Bill Parcells, guys he's worked under, and they'll tell you what a great guy he is. I'm like, I don't care if he's a great guy or not. That's cool if he is, but
Kentucky.
I need to know what he does with X's and O's.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't know. And of course, the spring game was very vanilla. They weren't going to show off anything they didn't have to. But to me, I look at it and say, this is your first college offense, and you're probably not going to be able to run the ball in a running league. How's that going to affect things? Because you just can't depend on Rattler saying, all right, well, we'll throw all the time, because if you're the opposing defensive coordinator, Drew Scott, what are you going to do? Just going to line up and say, okay, well, there's only 5 that can block me, so I'm sending the 6th then every time.
Well, what about defensively?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked a lot about the offense, and with South Carolina, the offense seems to be the topic first because of Spencer Rattler and company. But defensively, can they stop some of that run? Can they stop some of those throws?
That's the thing. It's the weird thing. The past 2 years, South Carolina's secondary has led the SEC in pass defense. Did you guys know that?
No, sir.
Did not.
Well, they did. And you know why? It's because nobody had to throw on them, because the rush defense was the worst in the entire league. So you have a bad rush defense 2 years in a row, and you lost most of your front 6, including 2 linebackers who had 12 years of college between them. 12.
Wow.
You lost both starting defensive ends, and you lost one of your starting defensive tackles. So it's one young man who is returning. He'll come here today is Tonka Hemingway. Tonka like the truck. And they've got good pieces, guys that have played, but it's just not as experienced or as talented yet as what they lost. Now, their secondary is, again, very good. They lost a guy, a 3-year starter last year on the third play of the season. True freshman had to come in and play and stay there the whole year. Well, that true freshman was Nick Emenwari and turned in a freshman All-American season. Kid had a great year. And DQ Smith, who was also a freshman, came in and played safety too. It was like, these guys are amazing. Where'd you find them? And that's one of those to say, yeah, the only other program that offered Nick Emenwari was a D2 school, and they wanted him as like a linebacker. And DQ Smith came in as a quarterback, a walk-on gray shirt quarterback. They're like, well, we'll stick you at DB and see what happens. So they feel good if team's going to throw the ball on him, but like the last 2 years, you can't stop the run. What are you going to do? So they're going to have to grow up real quick. They do have a freshman linebacker named Grayson Howard. Everybody calls him Pup. And Pup wanted to be part of this team so bad, he willingly came down to Jacksonville on his own dime and practiced with him in the bowl. Knowing that he couldn't play, he just wanted to go ahead and get some practices in. So he's going to be a guy to watch.
Well, and think about it, too. You mentioned it at the start of the conversation. It's a brutal top half of the schedule, though. 4 of those first 5 are really, really difficult. And you got to kind of keep your head above water so you can make a run at the end, I think.
No, absolutely, Drew. There's 4, like I said, the entire month of November they get to spend at home.
Right.
That's always very comforting. But before that, I mentioned that either 3-1 or 1-3. Well, after the 5th game's at Tennessee. Can you do it again? And then in October, you have back-to-back games at Missouri, at A&M, to which, one, it's a long trip. But Missouri's won 4 straight in that rivalry.
As people forget.
And Eli Drinkwitz has beaten them 4 straight times because he was the head coach at Appalachian State and beat him in 19 at home before he came to Missouri.
Wow.
And then A&M, they broke the streak last year.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Okay, can you do it again going to their place where results have not been kind over the years? And once you get through that crucible, it's like, all right, well, you do come back home, but, of course, you got to play some of these really tough teams. So schedule's always bad at South Carolina. It's never a favor, but it's one of those where you truly do have to say it's just 1 week at a time. You just can't look at it any other way than that. And you get off on the right foot by beating North Carolina in week 1. Then it's like, I don't know how much you get to experiment and play around in that game, but hopefully week 2 against Furman you should be able to.
Well, and we've asked this of a lot of our guests this week. Give us one guy offensively, maybe one guy defensively that we haven't seen that you think is going to make a big impact for the Gamecocks.
Well, offensively, just because he's going to have to play those running backs, freshman DJ Braswell. He was rated one of the top 15 high school prep running backs. And, again, he's going to have to play because they got nobody else. So it's like these 3 guys, I think what they're going to try to do, fellas, is say, can you run the ball in spurts? It cannot be a guy who takes it 30 times a game. They just don't have the personnel. Yeah, so Braswell's going to be one of those top 4, so he's going to have to run the ball. And just because he will play, you're going to have to keep an eye on him. Defensively, I did mention Pup Howard. But one of the defensive ends that will be playing is Brian Thomas. Thomas played some last year, but in a backup role. He did start in the bowl game, but he's going to be a guy that's going to have to play because, as they said, Clayton White, the defensive coordinator, said, we've got to stop the run and we got to rush the quarterback. And we haven't been getting anything on opposing QBs, and Brian Thomas is the guy that'll be able to do that.
Well, you do a great job, man.
Yeah.
Great stuff on the Gamecocks. Really appreciate you coming down before everything gets busy today, but let everybody know how to follow you, brother.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at DCPNC. Just check us out at postandcourier.com /sports or /Gamecocks. But yeah, we'll have it going from, I guess, August 4th when the kids report on up until September 2nd when they kick it off. But going to be a tough game in Charlotte, but that's the way they like it. And then we'll be sitting back here next year and thinking, well, you don't got to play Georgia, Florida, or Tennessee this year. You do got to go to Alabama and to Oklahoma. So we'll see how it goes next year.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dave.
No problem, guys.
Let's get that break in. We're live from SEC Media Days here in the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Nashville. Of course, today's cover is brought to you by Bill Penny Toyota. More talking ball after the break.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable. And easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talkin Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on the same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear, give Talkin Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talkin Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talkin Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talkin Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway
Or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
All right, there we go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, live from the Grand Hyatt Hotel in downtown Nashville. Fourth and final day of SEC Media Days. 256-576-4977. The phone lines are open. We can use the phone lines.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to go because Bama Bino's there this morning. Morning, sir.
What's up, Bama Bino? Yeah, it's been good. It's been
we
great.
have.
Certainly
We
have.
have.
No, sir.
No, we don't need a chaperone, but I'll tell you this, we've seen a lot of dog walkers.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of downtown.
We've seen a lot of downtown. Now, we've not partaken in the stuff going on downtown, but we have seen a lot of downtown.
Yes, we have. We've been on our feet some walking.
Yes.
Walking, not in Memphis, but in Nashville.
Look at you.
There you go. Had to change it a little
Yeah. we'll just say that Nashville's turned into Vegas and Bourbon Street country style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, it'll be interesting because you also have to get it's a process where you're right. He would be suspended for a year, but you also have to be vetted fully by the NCAA as a program. Plus, get Greg Sankey to sign off on it, and a lot of times he doesn't sign. Look, that's Hugh Freeze even admitted this week, with his relationship with Sankey. Freeze, Saban tried to hire him. Missouri, a lot of people did before he got the Liberty head coaching job, but he was considered persona non grata. Same way with Bo Davis for a couple years. He was working in the trucking industry. So Jeremy's probably going to have to bide his time. I don't think he enjoys the NFL. So it would probably be the high school level, which he helped his dad Dale last year, Bambino, as you know. But it's going to be interesting. I think he got a raw deal. I'm hoping he at least gets time served. I haven't heard if that's going to be 100% true or not.
Well,
in other words, he's already spent 2 years out. That would be 4 years, but we'll see.
Well, Jeremy Pruitt is planning to obviously appeal to reduce the 6-year show cause. Mm-hmm. Here is his argument, according to Adam Sparks, that he was the scapegoat for young staffers who went rogue and a Tennessee booster culture that predated his tenure.
Travarius Robinson, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. Thanks, Bambino. Yeah. Interesting because all that stuff going on with Tennessee, and today we won't. I mean, there'll be nothing. I mean, I don't think anything will get discussed about it today, because it's not even. It's not Josh Heupel. It's nothing, and so.
I'll be shocked.
Yeah. The only way it'd get brought up is if Danny White was here and he was having to answer questions, but he's not here, so there's nothing to answer to. Anyway, we are just about done with hour number one. We'll have 2 more hours to go. Coming up at the top of the hour, Roman Harper will join us from the SEC Network, and, of course, former Alabama Crimson Tide standout Roman Harper will be with us as we talk a little college football. Don't forget, we're on with you until 10 o'clock. 9:05, we will have Lane Kiffin over the airwaves for you. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss head coach. That'll get everything cranked up here for the 4th and final day. And then after that, Tennessee will be here. Josh Heupel will close the doors, and then we will follow with them all the way back down 65 South until we get back home. So anyway, just about done there with hour number one. Hey, don't forget, though, The Open Championship is going on right now. Good news, Stewart Cink is in the clubhouse. His round is done, 3 under. Remember, This was the only major that he has won. Stewart Cink, 3 under. He's tied for 3rd. The leader is Christo Lamprecht. Tommy Fleetwood is at 4 under. Lamprecht is 5 under. But Stewart Cink, Jordan Spieth, all there at 3 under. So good news from the Open Championship across the pond.
From a guy from North Alabama.
Yeah, Huntsville born. He was born in Huntsville. Mm-hmm. All right, okay. Let's see if we can get in Jeremy real fast before the break. Good morning, Jeremy.
What's up, Jeremy? Sure.
Jim Tressel.
We talked about him off the air this morning. Yep. I don't really compare the situations. I mean, his deal was that they were trading tattoos. Actually, in the NIL world now, it'd be legal. But he's now the president of Youngstown State. I think Coach Tressel could have gone back to and been on the sideline again. I think he chose to go back there because he's a hero in Youngstown. He won national championships there before he went to Ohio State. He's always been kind of a politician, so he decided to take his career in that direction. But I don't think he was blackballed from coaching or anything. I just think that was the direction Jim Tressel decided to take, and it really didn't surprise me. And to be honest with you, the pinnacle for him coaching was Ohio State because he's an Ohio guy to the core.
Jim Tressel got a 5-year show cause for everything that happened at Ohio State. Jeremy Pruitt gets a 6-year show
there
cause.
There are some similarities with the length.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy, sorry for the short conversation, but we are up against a break. And coming up in hour number 2, don't forget, we're with you for 3 hours. Rowan Harper set to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little college football with the former Alabama, now current SEC Network guy, Rowan Harper, coming up next.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer.
There you go. Hour number 2 of hour number 3. We'll be with you for 3 hours again today. We'll wrap it up at 10 o'clock, but this is hour number 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, live from the Grand Hyatt Hotel in downtown Nashville. It is day 4 of SEC Media Days, and of course today's coverage brought to you by Bill Penny Toyota. Don't forget, they are a certified Toyota dealership serving drivers throughout Huntsville and the surrounding areas. You're going to find a solid selection of new Toyotas for sale, carefully inspected pre-owned vehicles. They have well-connected finance people. They will get you a car. Their commitment to their customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. They've got a fantastic service department, and we'll be there on Monday. 256-576-4977. That's our number. You can join us later in the program as we wrap everything up here from Nashville. Roman Harper expected to join us here in just a little bit. Sometimes they run a little bit behind here at SEC Media Days. Greg Sankey making his way around, talking to guests, and Greg Sankey had a conversation yesterday with Wes and Steve, and enlightening conversation. So make sure you check out the drive replays on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch that conversation with Greg Sankey.
You can watch that, and then the Czar will have him on later this afternoon.
All right. Alabama here yesterday, as we told you, and we mentioned a little bit. Let's check in with Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner talking, well, actually, let's change it back. We're going to change it. Yep, this is what we do. We said we were going to have Roman Harper joining us, and indeed, the former Alabama standout.
Yep, Prattville Lion and Super Bowl champion.
And current SEC Network star.
Yep, Roman Harper. Roman, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Star is a loose word, but yeah, I'll take it. It's fine. Thank you. At least you said I'm from Prattville.
Yeah, you got the pipeline going. And
started it.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a quarterback athlete, became a great safety at the University of Alabama. I've never had to get a chance to ask you this question because you had a very long pro career. We've seen a lot of guys under Saban do the same thing. What is the key to longevity?
Continue to grow. Do not stay the same. You got to understand as you get older, the game should start to slow down for you mentally. And as your physical abilities may start to, I'm not running the same 40 time in year 8 or 9.
Right.
But the game is slowed down. How can you continue to stay sharp mentally, continue to be able to compete at the highest level physically? And a lot of that has to do with the mental part of the game. And so also being a teacher, a great teammate, a leader, and earning value in other places and not just on the field.
So that's a player's standpoint. How do you stay sharp? Take a look at Nick Saban. How's he been able to stay sharp and keep doing what he's doing at such a high level from a head coach standpoint?
I think Nick understands a couple of really, really, really important aspects of it. Number one, the best players always want to be coached. Like, that's number one. So it doesn't matter how old they are, whatever generation.
Yeah.
If you're good, you want to be coached up by the best, and you like to compete versus the other best players in the country. So that's number one. That will never change, and Nick understands that. The second thing is that Nick has always evolved. He's not like the dinosaur. He's much more like the crocodile. He's able to continue to grow, continue to learn and understand other things that are happening around him, offensively, defensively. We're not going to continue to stay the same because football is changing right in front of us. It used to be 2 running backs, 1 tight end, downhill runs. You could be big, physical, stout. The game is not like that anymore. It's 3 wide receivers. It's playing in space. It's understanding that, offenses try and stretch you horizontally before they ever try and attack you vertically, and understanding that we don't always have to just play man, maybe playing zone on 1st and 2nd down, and actually being able to teach the why and say, okay, well, understanding that when I play man-to-man coverage, my man takes me to my run fit. Versus when I'm playing zone coverage, my eyes allow me to see my own run fit, and it doesn't change. We just pass everything off.
Right.
So understanding when and why I call these plays, like that is how you continue to evolve. That's how you continue to sharpen your knife.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Kool-Aid McKinstry yesterday. I know you had a chance to interact with him.
Sorry if that was a little football heavy, but this is this is just how I know the game.
No, that was good.
And I was just really impressed mentally with where Kool-Aid McKinstry was last year because I've followed him since he was a freshman at Pinson Valley. He's always been high profile. He's always loved the lights, but he seemed to be in a really good place, understanding he's got to be a leader. I thought he was one of the best corners in the country last year. I think he has a chance to once again maybe be the best corner in the country. What were your thoughts on Alabama defensively going into this year and Kool-Aid?
So number one, I'm very hard on the defensive backfield of Alabama. I grade them with a different sense of eyesight and emotions naturally. I didn't like a lot of the things that they did last year. I do think Kool-Aid has a lot of talent. He has an upside, but the only question that he's going to have to answer when it comes to the next level, I think college at this point, playing for Alabama, if you start 3 years, of course you're going to be rated high regardless of your action, your potential, your numbers that you put up. You just played at Alabama, so they're going to throw you up there. And I'm not saying that Kool-Aid doesn't deserve all the honors and accolades that he's receiving. I don't know if he was an All-American last year, but, that's not my vote. I don't care. What I do care about is his future going forward, and who he reminds me of is a cornerback that played for Nick Saban when I was in school and played the New York Giants for a long time, Corey Webster, because I don't know what Kool-Aid's top-end speed is. But he's always on top of the receiver and controlling the route. And so as long as he's on top of the receiver, I don't care how fast he is, his top-end speed. I just know the NFL scouts will be very highly concerned, not concerned, but that's something that they're going to want to see. I know he plays with really good game speed, but when you're always on top of the receiver, you don't know what's his top-end speed, because in the NFL, you don't always get the opportunity to always be on top. You got to be able to play in space, and you got to be able to – you're not going to always be able to impress coverage either. So that's those two things that don't bode well for a lot of Alabama and Georgia DBs, because they never play off coverage. So we don't actually – we don't know if they can do that. We don't know how they backpedal. We don't know how some of these other things, which to me, I would love to see Alabama do a little bit more in those areas, just because it makes you a more well-rounded defensive back as a whole.
The conversation yesterday surrounding Alabama as a team was almost, from outside of the Alabama perspective, was the ceiling is falling, because Nick Saban alluded to it, but we had an off year. You only lose 2 games, and it's an off year. Talk about the narrative around this Alabama team.
Well, I mean, that's the standard in which they've set. So you got to understand that. It's not like, a great example for me is my wife's not driving a Honda, that's not the standard that I've set and given to her. So, will she rent one? Sure, but that ain't the one at the house, So you don't get to back those things back once you get out there. Right. And I think that's where Alabama stands right now. And it's okay. It's pressure, but, pressure is a luxury. And these guys got to understand they got to be able to step up. And it's all about winning the right games. And when I spoke to Nick yesterday, he was on set with us. He talked about, the most disappointing thing was how they finished games. They were in every game, but the finishing part of it comes with – that's where the great ones separate themselves.
Right.
That's why you're just another Alabama team versus the other great ones that Nick has had. There's the ones that have the ability to be able to finish teams off, finish games off. And the biggest stat, going back to what you said, was that the biggest letdown was the defense not forcing turnovers last year. It was the biggest stat. It's the most important stat in football. And when I brought it up to Nick, he lights up because he understands I know ball. Turnovers are the most important stat in football, and when you don't create them, now you got to play it straight up. Instead, when you get a turnover, it can really switch the game 35-14, or it can keep it close 42-35. So you want to be more they want to be better in that category on the defensive side, and if they do that, they give themselves a chance to be a lot better this year.
Oh, great conversation, Roman.
No doubt. And real quick, your thoughts on Steele coming back and running the defense?
I care, like I said, I care less about who's calling the plays, and it's more about how are they making plays. It's all about the optics of operation for me. They have to be more physical at the point of attack against the run, and they got to create turnovers. Other than that, it's all the same, because nobody's really holding anybody under 12, 15 points anymore. The game doesn't allow, the rules on the offense have too many. It doesn't allow it. Yep. So you have to be really good at the stats that matter, which is takeaway turnover ratio.
All right, Roman, thanks for the conversation.
Great stuff, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to Prattville.
Yes, sir.
Roman Harper with us this morning, and great stuff there. Interesting conversation.
Really, really good stuff when he's breaking down ball, and that's why this is called Talkin' Ball, because that's what Roman Harper was doing. And Roman was a great player for such a long time at Alabama and in the NFL. And
he just flipped that switch and went right into the football conversation. I mean, he just – broke it just like that.
That would be like him in a meeting room, talking to players.
Oh, can you imagine that?
Breaking things down. And so that was great stuff there. I really enjoyed it. And like you said, I thought Kool-Aid played well, but sometimes those around him didn't. I mean, I thought the safety play was spotty at times, but I think some of it was, Alabama was slow to adjust and didn't finish. And, they need to get – and he made a great point, and this is what I've said about this Alabama team upcoming, is they've got to be better on the offensive and defensive lines. They have got to be more physical. And that –
Well, J.C. Latham told us that yesterday, that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that they are going to go back and put their hand in the dirt. They're going to be physical. They're going to bloody – they're going to be bloody for 4 quarters. And – the last time Alabama had that, it was – they're not going to go back to being just so completely – what do they call it? Murderless?
Joyless murder ball, which is what Dallas Turner talked about.
Yeah, and we're going to hear from that. And let's –
But I think it's going to be – they'd like to be similar to the team in 2020.
Okay.
Which was they
balanced.
They were balanced. They were really patient running the ball. Mac Jones took shots vertically down the field. And remember, he's not the most mobile quarterback. Now, the 3 guys they got competing, Milroe, Ty Simpson, and certainly Buckner, are mobile. They're better athletes, but you have to be able to throw the ball vertically down the field because with the play action and things of that nature.
Right.
Because if you're able to run the ball like they were with Najee Harris, it opens up everything. And so that's what this Alabama team's got to do. And then conversely, defensively, Roman made a great point. They've got to force more turnovers. They didn't force enough last year, Scott. They weren't disruptive enough.
Right.
And then they weren't disciplined. They got way too many penalties. And that's why they lost to Tennessee, because they came close to forcing some turnovers against the Vols, but again, they were a little bit sloppy overall, and that's why they dropped that game.
Here is Dallas Turner talking just that.
The expectations is joyless murder ball for the season, of course, but it's a lot of guys on the defense that can run around, fly around, and make good plays.
Short and sweet from Dallas Turner.
Yeah, and he's going to take over the role of alpha in that linebacker room, the outside backers, now that Will's moved on to the NFL, to the Houston Texans. Dallas has a lot of expectations on him. He's a 5-star coming out of St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He has a lot of talent. He was a freshman All-American. Wasn't quite as good last year, so it's a big year for him to impress NFL scouts and become a first-round draft pick of his own. Now, I always am interested with who Nick Saban brings to Media Day.
Right.
Because to me that means he's been impressed with these guys' work and they trust them and they think they are leaders of this team. So I would think that that means Dallas Turner's had a hell of an offseason and they think he's in a great place right now.
Well, let's get a break in. We're in a good spot. Let's get a break in, and we will continue the conversation from SEC Media Days, 4th and final day from the Grand Hyatt Hotel here in Nashville. Talking Ball presented by Bill Penny Toyota coming your way next.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talent Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear. Give Talent Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talent Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talent Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talent Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when...
There we go. We're back. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. Day 4 of SEC Media Days from the Grand Hyatt Hotel here in downtown Nashville. Once again, coming up at 9:05, Lane Kiffin will come over our airwaves as the Ole Miss Rebels really, they will kick things off here on day 4. And if you look at the Ole Miss schedule coming out of the break this year, this is what is in store for the Rebels. They will open up with Mercer on September 2nd. Then they get Tulane in New Orleans, and then it's Georgia Tech in Oxford, and then September 23rd, their SEC opener in Tuscaloosa with Alabama, followed by a home game with LSU, and then a home game with Arkansas before their break, and then it is a trip to Auburn, home with Vanderbilt, home with Texas A&M, to Georgia. They'll wrap it up with UL Monroe at home, and then Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl in Starkville. So that is the schedule for Mississippi State. Or I mean, not Mississippi State, right? Ole Miss.
Yeah. And,
my apologies there on that one, but
the
yeah.
ironic part is with Lane Kiffin and who he's bringing with him. We already talked about Quinshawn Judkins.
Yeah.
Who's probably the best running back in the SEC. They're bringing cornerback DeAndre Prince and defensive end Cedric Johnson. I believe Ced came last year. Here's the interesting part. Quinshawn, as we know, is from the Montgomery area and Pike Road. They won the state championship his senior year. But Cedric Johnson's from Mobile. So they've got 2 Alabama representatives that are going to be talking Rebels today. And so that's interesting. They have not started making their rounds yet on Radio Row. We'll see. We certainly would love to hear from Quinshawn Judkins. And
well, he's probably he's what a find for Lane Kiffin.
Oh, I mean, it defines his tenure so far.
Right.
I know, that he's Matt Corral had a great year at quarterback for him in year 1, and they ended up getting him drafted in the NFL and made some waves. But Quinshawn Judkins, And that first 7 games last year was really some eye-opening stuff. Now the schedule got much tougher on the back end. Ole Miss struggled. And now we want to see, with Spencer Sanders in town, Jackson Dart, how the quarterback situation plays itself out. But one thing we do know is Judkins, remember, our good friend David Johnson, and Quinshawn wasn't even thought to be a starter last year.
Right.
But he told us in practice the guy was doing unbelievable things. He got on the field early, and then by the second half or the middle part of the season, he was a starter and the best running back nearly in the SEC. So that guy's a stud. He carried Ole Miss. They just didn't win. He'd be a Heisman candidate right now. I don't know that he's on a lot of Heisman radars. He is on the periphery. But again, I think overall, when you think about it, if they had won a couple games down the stretch, or if they had beaten Alabama when they had a chance,
you think he would be in a discussion?
I think he might have been on the front of the national magazine.
Well, think about this. Then you look at their record, or you look at their schedule this year. They should be 1-0 after their game against Mercer.
Oh yeah,
should be 2-0 because they're not Southern Cal, so they should beat Tulane.
We'll see. That's dangerous, though. I will say
it is. It is.
That could be a situation where if Jackson Dart's not sharp, Spencer Sanders could come in. But you're right. They should beat.
They
Tulane.
should beat Tulane.
Yeah.
So, and we alluded to it earlier. Pete Golding might give. That could be a game where Ole Miss fans start to really bring out the wild turkey. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech.
They
should be a win.
Yep.
So you figure Ole Miss should be 3-0 out of the gates. Mm-hmm. They travel to Alabama. That'll be a tough one. So let's just put an L in the column there. So you're 3-1 after your first 4. You bring LSU to Oxford.
Yeah, that's going to be a defining one for LSU and Ole Miss. If Alabama does what they're supposed to do and beats the Rebels will be trying to stay in the race already. Because 2 losses is really crippling. It's a huge rivalry still with LSU. LSU thinks they're back. A lot of people think they're the favorite in the West. And the way they handle Quinshawn Judkins and the way they handle Ole Miss, that'll go a long way to seeing whether or not Lane Kiffin in year 4 has got a contending football team.
Well, that'll be LSU. By the time LSU travels to Oxford on September 30th, that'll be LSU's 3rd conference game of the season, because LSU will take on Mississippi State in week 3. They have Arkansas the next week, and then they travel to Ole Miss. So by the time Lane Kiffin sees LSU will, that'll be their 3rd conference game of the year. But if you're Ole Miss, then you get Arkansas after that. That's a defining game. Because if you trip up, if you fall to LSU and you fall to Alabama in back-to-back weeks, you cannot lose to Arkansas.
No, and Ole Miss's schedule is brutal because on the back end they got to go to Georgia.
Yep.
And Texas A&M is not going to be an easy game in Oxford either. A&M is talented. You could argue that Ole Miss has the toughest schedule in the SEC this year. Last year it was Arkansas. And we saw what happened to Arkansas, Scott.
Yeah, that's true.
Went 7-6. I would say the Rebels have the toughest schedule in all of college football right now, at least at the very least in the SEC. But as tough a schedule as any in college football, I think definitely.
Well, once again, the Ole Miss Rebels and Lane Kiffin, 9:05. You'll be able to hear Lane Kiffin right here over our airways of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So have the app downloaded, so you can have it in the palm of your hands, and you can listen to Lane Kiffin talk about his team this coming year. We'll also hear from Josh Heupel a little bit. I ran into Vince Ferrara just a couple minutes ago, and he's ready to go home, but he's also eager to hear what Josh Heupel has to say, and he's also eager to hear what Joe Milton has to say and how many questions Joe Milton is going to get about throwing an orange 100 yards or throwing baskets in there at Thompson Bowling Arena. But he's eagerly anticipating of what he is going to get to talk about with his Tennessee Volunteers.
He's easily the most talented quarterback physically in the SEC this year. We're talking about, if you're talking about mobility, arm strength, just physical talent. He can do it all. It's just about from the neck up and the consistency part. That's what you've got to see with the Ole Miss Rebels and the Tennessee
Volunteers.
I've got
yeah.
Lane Kiffin on the brain. But yeah, that's what you got to see from Tennessee. And Joe Milton is the key. I've said it before. If he's really, really good, they're going to have back-to-back strong seasons. Yeah, last year ain't going to be a fluke, and I think they got a chance to win double-digit games and finish in the top 2 in the East. And that game in Knoxville at the end of the year against Georgia is going to be maybe the biggest game in the SEC this year.
Wow.
And because of what's at stake.
Well,
because a division title could be at stake.
Alabama LSU could be that
a Heisman could be at stake, even if for Joe Milton.
Ooh.
So there you go. But if he's not good and Nico Iamale 9.5 is out there, with the.
Do you really believe Joe Milton could be a Heisman candidate this year?
Yes, if he does what he did in the Orange Bowl consistently.
Right.
And we don't know yet. But if he struggles and Nico Iamaleava's in there by the end of the year, then look out. So I don't think that they've got 10 wins. I don't think they're contending for the East. And then I still think they could be a potential bowl team, maybe 7-5. But that'll be very disappointing to Vol Nation after what we saw last year when they kind of set everybody on their ear.
All right, 8:27 here from the Grand Hyatt Hotel, day 4 of SEC Media Days. Let's get a break. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to Jeff from the Borough real fast. We haven't had a chance to check in with Mark Stoops yet, but we do have Mark Stoops ready to go. But let's go to the phone lines. Let's get in Jeff from the Borough real fast. Good morning, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff? Well, I didn't think I asked a stupid question. I thought mine was pretty good.
People just picking on poor Kentucky still.
Well, Jeff, we know you'll be listening.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, Stoops didn't have 12 minutes. Come on, Jeff.
30, Jeff. It's all scripted, man. Well, thank you for watching that, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you for watching it. I put it up there just for you.
I'll tell you what,
All
Jeff.
right.
I know you'll be listening. We'll play my question so you can hear it.
Well, I got to find
point.
your question.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because the question that Jeff, we'll take him. If you want to bring him over here, we'll take him. That Ole Miss player is just walking around. We'll take him. I mean, if anybody doesn't want him, we'll take him. Yeah, John, go over there and see if you can tell him to come on over here. We'll take anybody. Here we go. Look at this. This is
Free
how you
flow
do
radio.
it. Yes. Hey. Yeah. We'll take. Yeah. Have a seat.
Have a seat, my friend.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you. All right, Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss Rebels, getting ready to come on, and let's talk a little Ole Miss football.
Yeah, that's no doubt. We're going to talk with some Ole Miss football now. Cedric Johnson, defensive lineman for the Rebels. And Ced, I was wondering about this. Weren't you here last year as a representative as well?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And you're from the great state of Alabama, but you're playing for Lane Kiffin. Talk about the first year now under Pete Golding and your new defensive direction and the optimism going into this season.
Well, I really like Pete Golding a lot so far. He's very particular in detail in the way he runs the scheme and everything. And I really like how he just, like, at the end of the day, just play ball, just play hard, play physical, play like you know how to play, like you used to, like you always played. So I really like that.
What's been the biggest difference?
I really feel like the attitude of the guys, I feel like we've bonded a lot more, like, as a team. Like, I feel like the defense is completely on a whole, not another page, but just one whole unit. Like, even with the new guys, bringing them in, I feel like we're just one complete unit now.
No doubt, and I know you guys were disappointed in the second half of the year last year because y'all were flying high. The Alabama, the second half didn't go the way you guys wanted, certainly. But what was amongst the players, because the players, it's usually a player-led team. They're the ones that want to make the changes, even if the new coaches come in. What's kind of been you as a leader kind of stepping up and how you guys finish now?
I feel like the main thing is focusing on small details, just knowing how hard we got to go every play, knowing how hard we got to finish, and everybody just flying to the ball. We consistently fly to the ball. All those small mistakes, little detail, little small things, they get erased if we just all fly to the ball hard, finish hard.
Would you describe this defense as a little bit more attacking, a little bit more pressure than what you scheme-wise last year, last year?
100%. I believe, like, just scheme-wise, I feel like even for sure from my position in the D-line, we're going to have a lot more fun coming off the edge. Just a whole bunch of different new looks that's going to be fun for us.
Kind of brings a smile to your face when you talk about that a little bit, huh?
Yes, for sure.
No question. And we were talking about another one of your fellow Alabamians on the team that's Quinshon Judkins that took the league by storm last year. When you were practicing against him, we started hearing buzz from one of our guys, David Johnson, who covers y'all, and he told us early on in practice that the guy was going to be the real deal, to watch it. When did you guys know how good he was going to be?
Honestly, when I first saw him, it would probably be during spring. During our spring game, he started popping off. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, 'cause I didn't really know him. He's one of the new guys coming in, but then I'm seeing him run a ball. I'm like, who's this guy running like this, running this hard? And then I knew then that he's going to be special.
Defensively, some of the new guys coming in this year, who's kind of caught your eye a little bit that you're going to say, look, I know it's the SEC and things are a little bit different. This is a big man's league, but they're not going to have a problem coming in, playing, adjusting to everything in the league.
I think really the guys in my position that came in, Chambo Chamberlain, and DJ Holmes, they look really good. They got a bright future ahead of them. Chambo moves extremely well, big guy. Just put some more weight on him, he's going to be ready to go. DJ, he moves extremely well as well. They're both going to be crazy guys on the field.
And you're a leader now, being a senior on this squad. You played a lot of snaps. How have you kind of tried to – and we know we always kind of joke that Lane's the portal king. How do you kind of take in these guys under your wing and try to teach them, what you guys need to do on a day-to-day basis to become good players? Because that's what the key is, chemistry. How do you take your role as a leader?
I just do my best to welcome the guys in, new guys, and just try and set the standard or just show them the standard how we run things, or how we do things, how we finish, how hard we work. And a lot of guys have just came in with their own level of hard work, and it's just been an easy adoption for them. They just mesh in well, and I just bounce off their energy bounce off me, so it works well.
And you are a self-motivated guy. That's why you're here. You're a leader. I mean, what did you want after you kind of took some self-reflection on last season? What part of your game do you need to improve the most in your mind?
Yeah.
I believe the main thing is just focusing on my health, focusing on my body. Just if I can keep that consistent, I feel like I have a great season this year. I feel like I still played at a high level even with my injuries, but I feel like without those, I feel like I'll be able to do exactly what I need to do to get to the next level.
Yeah, how do you carry that momentum that you had in spring? You had a great spring.
I didn't even practice during the spring.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I was had my shoulder surgery, so I've just been rehabbing that the whole time.
That's why he's been focusing on his body, trying to get healthy, trying to get right, and get to the NFL. That's the goal. But what about team goals? How good can this Ole Miss team be?
I think we'd be great. I feel like the only thing that's going to hold us back is us. Offense, I feel like they're going to do what they've always done. Put up a lot of points. And the defense, we're going to do a lot better than we have done in previous years. We're going to stop a lot of people and hold them from getting a lot of points.
Well, good luck to you, man. Stay healthy. I'm glad
Yeah.
that surgery went well. Get back out on the field. And it says a lot when you're a two-time guy being brought by the Rebels to represent them and what you've done. We're proud of you from our state, but we're proud of what you've done with the Rebels and continued success.
So have you had more fun in Atlanta or Nashville?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know at the end of it.
There we go.
All right.
Good luck to you, my
All
friend.
right.
Appreciate it.
Cedric Johnson with us. Good times. And like I said, you never know how it's going to unfold here. Good job by John. I mean, see, going over there. I mean, the guy's just standing there. I mean, we might as well go ahead and sit down. I thought he played in the spring because he got the Courage Award. He got an award for spring ball.
Right.
But he just didn't play in the spring. We are due for a break. We've got to get a break in. We have got more Talking Ball live from the Grand Hyatt in Nashville. Day 4 of SEC Media Days presented by Bill Penny Toyota. Coming up next.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talent Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear. Give Talent Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talent Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talent Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talent Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway
Or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local.
There we go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live, day 4 of SEC Media Days, 4th and final day of SEC Media Days here at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in downtown Nashville. Gonna hate to leave this place because when I get back home to Huntsville, I'm not gonna know how to drive where no road construction is around.
Well, you know.
So I'm just figuring it out, getting used to it, and now we got to leave.
No, I've just been taking it all in with the Uber and everything, and walking downtown and taking in the dogs and
walking the dogs. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And,
there's been plenty of dog walking going on.
And
would you get on one of those pedal carts?
No. I'm going to be sober.
Well, you can be on one and have fun.
Well, I don't think sobriety is a big part of that.
Yeah, there were plenty of people at 8:30 last night that probably still, they don't know where they were at.
Well, they're probably still asleep.
I'm going to say
my guess.
They're definitely not listening to us via the app this morning. Unless they got up at 4 a.m. for some odd reason.
We've already been over that.
I'm not saying.
We had a great steak last night.
Oh, yes, we did. Woo! Had some good stuff. I mean, a great steak and deviled eggs, believe it or not, as an appetizer from a restaurant that was fantastic.
John even had a deviled egg, man.
I think John ventured in that far. We still did not get Captain Chicken to eat some gumbo, though.
He had a big burger, though.
He did have a burger.
We didn't get the Czar to have any gumbo either. We
did
never
not.
Tried gumbo.
That's
crazy.
Neither is Stroker Ace.
Uh-oh.
So
bringing back a oldie but a goodie. Fastest chicken in the South.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, don't
I
forget
still want to go.
The crew chief was either.
Oh, I know.
Jim Neighbors.
Yes, Bailey. I know that's a movie you have not seen, and that is Stroker Ace.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Speaking
okay.
of our restaurant recommendations there.
Yes, all right. We did not get to the peg leg pork.
We tried. It was closed.
It was closed on Sunday. We just not had a lot of time. But all right, Ellis is with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Ellis.
What's up, Ellis?
We're doing fantastic.
Man. Yeah.
If you would have been with us at the dinner table last night, you would have probably laughed a lot.
Yeah, barbecue shrimp was a bomb too.
Barbecue shrimp was good, yes. Yeah. But we've had a good time. But
well, tell them about your restaurant, Scott. This was your research.
So we went to the Southern Steak and Oyster Bar restaurant last night down on 3rd Street. And it was about 3 blocks away from Broadway, but it was fantastic. And you and I partook in the strip, New York strip.
With a peppercorn seasoning.
Oh, it was fantastic. And Steve had the filet. And I mean, the Czar was the wimp of the night. I mean, he went full rack of ribs, but only ate half of the ribs.
We didn't ask him if he ate them this morning.
I mean, we all had a side. I had a side salad, had a dessert, had all my meal. I mean,
I had some monstrosity French fries.
Yeah, we threw it all down. I mean, Ellis, you would have been proud. We represented Talking Ball to the fullest degree.
We did.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been good. We've had a fantastic time, but I mean the whole thing, the whole purpose of us being here was to figure out these college football teams, figure out Alabama, figure out Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, everybody. And I believe right now, Ellis, I hate to do it to you, but we're going to pause the conversation with you because we've got South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler sitting down here with us at the table right now. So, Ellis, we're going to pause that conversation, and we're going to talk to the quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Spencer Rattler, with us this morning. Spencer, welcome in.
Great to be here. Obviously a blessing to be here.
Absolutely, Spencer. We're glad to have you. We just talked to a guy that's covered you your entire career, and what an ending of the season for you guys. So much growth for you at the position. How much did it mean to finish the season the way y'all did? I know the bowl game didn't go the outcome, but the Clemson win, the Tennessee performance, what clicked for you at the end of the season?
We didn't change too much. Like, people think we changed our whole offense, but we just tightened some things down. Obviously tightened down some personnel groupings. Made it easier for us to go fast and play to our strengths and get the ball in our best players' hands.
Talk about spring football then. You come out of the win against Clemson. Now you have a new offensive coordinator. Right. You go through spring. Talk about the adjustments there.
Obviously having a lot of new stuff, but keeping some stuff that we were really good at last year. It's been great with Coach Dow. He's coached quarterbacks his whole career in the NFL and some in college. So he's got a great mindset, and he's been a great coach for us, and we're putting everything together and excited to get to camp here in about 2 weeks.
And has it kind of been a collaborative effort? I know he has some NFL ties too, and that's where you want to go. But have you guys kind of put your heads together and you kind of told him what you're comfortable with? Talk about kind of building the offense.
Most definitely. He loves input, not just from me, but other quarterbacks, and, our offense as a group, which is great to see from your offensive coordinator, obviously wanting you guys to be comfortable, play fast, play in your comfort zone, and play to your strengths. So, putting in a lot of new stuff and just perfecting, like I said.
Well, this year should be a good year for you. You got your favorite target back.
Juice.
Yes,
you got Juice back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talk about that chemistry.
Yeah, you guys had instant chemistry, it seemed like.
Yeah, me and Juice last year, it was a great chemistry. I feel like we could have done a lot more. Obviously a lot of his yards came as well from those last 2-3 games. So we left a lot on the table, and I feel like, that's why we wanted to come back. We felt like we had a lot more to do, and this is the year to do it.
And then talk about DeCarrion. He's kind of taken on a little bit of a different role. He's been a playmaker at receiver. He may get some time at running back. The running game's got to, that's the kind of the unknown coming into the season. Tell us about how that's coming along.
DK, he's done a great job. Obviously a resilient player, great character, great leader for us. He's played multiple positions, and whatever position he's in, running back, receiver, he's going to help our squad. And not just him, but obviously we've got Juju McDowell, another vet who's been through it and is a great player, and then a new transfer, Mario Anderson, who's a strong back. He'll be a good piece for us.
The game can slow down at certain moments. It can speed up. That Tennessee game, relive that for us. Did that whole night just slow down? I mean, there's nights where things you can't explain. Things happen. The game happens. Was that one of those nights?
As a quarterback, you want one of those nights every Saturday. But, everything, kind of clicked. Everything kind of clicked, not just for me, but our whole group, offensively and defensively. So if we can replicate that throughout the season, we'll have a good season.
And for you, when did it I know you've been a high-profile guy your entire career. You were heavily recruited. When did you start feeling really comfortable at Carolina?
I'd say, once we got into fall camp or spring ball last year, obviously going through spring ball, I'd say after spring ball, obviously gaining the guys' trust, becoming a leader on the team, learning how everybody is, and obviously having a year under my belt. I'm super comfortable now, and such a tight-knit group. Love them.
What did it mean to beat Clemson in that final game? I mean, I know it's a win, it's a rivalry win, but sometimes those mean a lot more to a program than what we as media members or even fans look at it as.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming here, I didn't realize how big of a rivalry that was. I mean, there's people that still come up to me and all of our players to this day and say, man, you made my year. You made my year. I don't have to hear this and that. I'm just happy for the rest of the year until we play them again. So, obviously a big rivalry, big-time win, and we were happy to do it.
And then real quickly, what are you looking forward to grow in your game for your final year, and how much are you looking forward to the game in Charlotte to kick it off against Drake May and the Tar Heels?
Really just trying to improve in every area right now, just get this whole offense honed in. Right now I feel like my body's better than ever, about 215 pounds now, moving well, strong. Just really creating that chemistry with the guys, and obviously excited to compete against North Carolina. Much respect for them, but we're going to prepare and have a blast out there.
Well, it was fun to watch you guys finish last year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope you can take the momentum on. We love Coach Beamer, such a great guy. We really appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks. Spencer Rattler join us, the South Carolina quarterback here at SEC Media Days. Man, I tell you what, this is what we do. I mean,
flow, not fro. I don't have a fro.
No, you do not.
Bob Ross does, though.
Bob Ross has one. And I miss Bob.
Yeah,
I miss Bob. We did not get to see Bob on Monday.
One more time this month we get to see Bob. Inside joke.
No, we don't. Hey, Bailey, we had it at the house this week, but we could not convince anybody to watch the Bob Ross channel.
It was interesting talking Bob Ross with Wes.
Oh, we've had a lot of interesting conversations this week. Oh, we got to get a break in. Oh, I believe Bailey. Do we have to get a break in, Bailey, or are we good?
Got a break
okay. Okay, yeah, let's get that break in real fast.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talon Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talon Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear, give Talon Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talon Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talon Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talon Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We've had a fun 2 hours. We're not done. We've got an hour and 3 minutes left of this extravaganza here from SEC Media Days here at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Nashville. Downtown Nashville, to be exact. We are literally, if you are very familiar with Nashville. We are maybe 10 yards away from Union Station. It's literally right out the door to us. This is a hotel. It's only been here 3 years here in Nashville. So that is where we are at as far as location goes. Lane Kiffin will come your way at 9:05 this morning.
Yep, and always interesting to hear from the Lane train.
It will be.
No doubt about it. I thought it was great stuff with the Spencer Rattler. Seems very, very settled, very focused.
It was funny looking at him and going, man, you were the QB from, what was was it HBO or Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix.
It was on the Netflix. I'm like, man, you're the guy from Netflix.
Well, that's what I was talking about. He was the #1 quarterback in the country about 4 years ago coming out of Arizona. And he at one time he was a Heisman candidate at Oklahoma, but he lost his job to the Cal Turd's favorite quarterback, Caleb Williams, who says he's the greatest he's ever seen. Of course, if he didn't have a Southern Cal helmet on, I don't think he'd say that. But anyway,
he's got a Heisman.
He does have a Heisman, but look, Bryce Young, also won the Heisman Trophy. You know what I'm saying? He won it, a couple years ago. So I still think Bryce is better than Caleb Williams. I don't care what anybody says. I've watched them both play. Caleb's a really good player.
Right.
But again, we'll see. I mean, a lot of people are already giving him another Heisman, but you know how that works. Bryce didn't win it last year, so
it's hard to repeat his Heisman because you get scrutinized way more.
And if SC drops a game early, it's really going to have an effect. So
your stats have to be better than what they were the year you won the Heisman. You cannot have equal numbers and win the Heisman.
Championship contention. They're going to have to actually win the Pac-12 and not get their ass beat by Utah.
Or Tulane.
Well, I already mentioned that 50 times. Everybody knows they lost to Tulane.
Well,
for crying out loud.
I'm just saying.
The Heisman.
Yeah, that's true. You are 100% correct there. Oh, boy. Hey, Bailey, just so you know, I've seen a lot of people that we cannot have over for dinner here today or this week. I've seen a lot of people in person.
Luther, a.k.a. Dennis Doofus, just walked by.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people in person this week that cannot come over for dinner.
But I mean,
and Bailey just says 1 minute.
I know. I just said Scott and Steve are chatting him up. I just said I have no comment.
Yeah, I tried to get Dennis Dodd here, Bailey, but Drew didn't want him over here.
You can give me the
no luck.
Give me the.
Yeah, Drew said he would have gotten up and walked away. He's standing right here.
There he is.
I know. He just
cliffhanger.
He just will never be allowed to come over for dinner. So. I guess.
Lane Kiffin next.
Yeah, 9:05, Lane Kiffin. Hour 3 of Talking Ball going to come your way after these commercials, courtesy of Bill Penny Toyota. They are our Day 4 sponsor here of Talking Ball from the Grand Hyatt. Day 4 of SEC Media Days continues after this timeout.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
There you go. Hour 3 of Talking Ball is underway. Coming up here in about 5 minutes, you're going to hear from Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. The Ole Miss Rebels here today, and it has been an entertaining, unbelievable 2 hours of the 4th and final day of SEC Media Days. Of course, today's coverage presented by Bill Penny Toyota. And don't forget, we will be at the service department or inside the service department on Monday back there at Bill Penny Toyota. They're your certified Toyota dealer throughout Huntsville and the surrounding area. You're going to find a solid selection of brand new Toyotas. You're going to see carefully inspected lineup of pre-owned vehicles. Hey, they are well connected in the finance world, so never fear about getting in a Toyota. And then once you buy one, make sure you head back over to the service department Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can take care of all your vehicle's needs there at Bill Penny Toyota. Again, coming up here in just a couple minutes, we're going to hear from Lane Kiffin. We have had a chance this morning, in case you missed it, and you're going to want to be able to go back and click on the YouTube channel and rewatch our show from this morning, because we have had conversations with South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler. That was a fantastic conversation. And then we've had one with Ole Miss defensive end Cedric Johnson, who prepped in the state of Alabama down there in the Mobile area. So we had a conversation with him. We've also talked some South Carolina. We've talked Tennessee. We've talked Ole Miss. But coming up here in just a couple minutes, we will hear. We're just awaiting the commissioner, Greg Sankey. And I believe, let's see, I don't think we have Greg Sankey yet, but let me just go in here and push a couple of these buttons, because there we go, we got it all on. This is how you just program it live on air. You make sure you just hit buttons and see if it all goes. But anyway, yes, it does. It does. And Bailey, we've had a fantastic time. We've missed you, but we've had a fantastic time up here in Nashville, in the Music City. And, of course, next year we will head to Dallas for the 2024 SEC Media Days, and that'll be the first one with Texas and Oklahoma. It's the first one without divisions. And we have to have our preseason ballots turned in today by 5 o'clock. That is when we have to have everything in. And I'll just tell you, and we'll get Drew's after we hear from Lane Kiffin, but I did vote LSU to win the West. I feel like Alabama has a lot of questions. I feel the quarterback play is an uncertainty. We don't know. Is it Ty Simpson? Is it Tyler Buckner? Is it Jalen Milroe? Which one of those three will win the quarterback spot? And I think that question mark is an unknown. I think Alabama has a lot of answers. They have a lot to prove, but they have a lot of talent. I mean, this Alabama team, the sky is not falling on Alabama by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like they have a lot to prove. And I picked Georgia to win the East. I don't think that is a huge shock or should come as a surprise to anyone. And then I have Georgia winning the SEC championship game. I think their schedule sets up perfect for Georgia. Now, yes, it's an SEC schedule. It is what it is. But I think Georgia is very talented. Now, Georgia has question marks as well. Georgia has a question mark at quarterback, but we kind of glossed that over because Georgia's at the point now where they just plug and play. But anyway, we should be having the commissioner come up here any minute to introduce one Lane Kiffin. We're just waiting on that. I expect that to happen here in just a minute. It is 9:05. But right now, we have not heard anything from inside the media room with Lane Kiffin. So hopefully we will have that here coming up for you in just a minute. But until we do, we'll keep filling everything in. And of course, we're going to hear from Shane Beamer. You're going to hear from You're going to hear from Josh Heupel a little bit later here this afternoon, here from the Grand Hyatt Hotel. And I'm trying to figure out why we do not have the commissioner. And I'm hoping they still have us plugged in. Okay, there's our box. I still think we're in here. Got to make sure everything is still plugged in and everything the way it should be, because they are running behind, have to be running behind, because I am not hearing anything from inside the room, and we're trying to do this here on the fly as we make sure, yeah. Live radio at its finest as we are trying to make sure that, we're still plugged in. We're still good. We're just awaiting the arrival of one Lane Kiffin here inside the room, waiting for the commissioner, Greg Sankey, to introduce the head coach. And we talked about the Rebels' schedule. We talked about how much everything is laying in front of LSU or Ole Miss, and the fact that they probably have one of the toughest schedules in the conference, if not in the country. So they open up, Ole Miss will open up with Mercer on September 2nd, and then they travel to New Orleans for Tulane. And we talked about that game, and we kind of make fun of USC and the fact that they lost to Tulane in a bowl game. So that game there for Ole Miss could be a little sneaky one, could be a tough one. And then they welcome Georgia Tech in the third game of the season there in Oxford. If you go back to last year, Ole Miss traveling over to – here we go.
The fourth day of
Let's go into the commissioner, Greg Sankey, as he introduces Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin.
Lane has led the Rebels to 3 straight bowl appearances, ranked among the nation's leaders in offense, including number 3 nationally in rushing offense, number 8 in total offense. As a collegiate athlete, he played at Fresno State under Pat Hill, was a quarterback there for 3 seasons. He also began his coaching career as a student assistant in 1997 at Fresno State. He's the son of renowned defensive mind Monty Kiffin. Lane attended Bloomington Jefferson High in Bloomington, Minnesota, where he played football, baseball, and basketball. He has 2 daughters, Landry and Presley, and a son, Knox. A full story, a full telling of the Mike Leach no tie story. As I shared Monday, we had the conversation backstage. Mike had a tie on. Later at media days, Lane arrived with no tie, emphasizing that I needed to run towards the Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin no tie attitude, which I've done this week. It's my honor to introduce to you, to begin our day 4, Ole Miss head football coach Lane Kiffin.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, so we're going into our 4th year here at Ole Miss, which has been a very exciting offseason for us. You know, really grateful to Keith Carter, our athletic director, our chancellor, Boyce, for keeping us here and believing in what we're building here. And our Ole Miss fans in the city of Oxford has been awesome. So excited for this 4th year coming up. You know, to recap, we were on a really good run. I'm not going to say a great run because we have extremely high standards, but, you know, coming off the 10-3 season, and really last year we were 8-1, and with the ball in our hands to go down, I want to say the 14-yard line, 1st and 10, with a chance to beat Alabama, to have a great home win and go to 9-1. And so that was a really good run for a season and 9 games there. And then I didn't do a very good job at the end of the year of keeping our team together. I think, not as an excuse, but I set it up here a year ago, you know, the challenge is when you have such a roster overhaul and so portal heavy. And I've said I've always been concerned about culture issues when you do that because you don't have kids that have been there very long. So, and I said one of those challenges, even if you look at the NBA when they put together these good free agent teams, is if seasons don't go great, it's very hard to keep everybody playing at a high level because the expectations were so high. So I think down the stretch there, after the Alabama game, I didn't do a good enough job of finding a way to keep our guys playing at a high level because we did not play to our standards at the end of the season. So excited about this season coming up. There's been a ton of change, 40 new scholarship players. It's kind of the world that we live in. I think everybody's experiencing that more than ever on their roster. And I think every place has their own plan, and every place does things differently, I would think, I have to speak for myself, based off of what you need to do at that place to win. There's not this blueprint that's everywhere, that would be the same everywhere, in my opinion, because you got to figure out high school kids, junior college kids, and then portal kids, and where your numbers go there. And with the relief from the 25 initial scholarship counters every year, that gets more creative of how you can put your roster together. For those who are not familiar, before there used to be a cap there, so you could not have these massive roster changes that you've seen at some places around the country. Also, Pete Golding coming in on defense. We're really excited about that change and what he brings. To bring him over from Alabama, I've known Pete and people that worked with him a long time. He's ahead of the game, very intelligent, really great recruiter as well. So there's some transition there with a lot of new coaches and a ton of new players, and some that missed spring, like Cedric Johnson, who's here today, missed the spring. So this fall will be really important for us in all areas, but especially on defense, of putting all that together to play good defense. Some topics here that are out there, and so I'm going to address the portal NIL, what I kind of call a disaster that we're in. And so I know that question's going to come, and the reason why I break that down usually is because I do afterwards get a lot of feedback from you guys in the media, or fans, that they're appreciative of a coach that really addresses where it's at and what are the challenges with it. So first off, I've always said I think it's phenomenal that players get a chance to get paid, which is great. I do think, which I've stood up here and said before when it first happened, that there's going to be some major issues, and we're creating free agency with the portal. And with NIL, you've got a lot of pay for play going on, and that is what it is. So those two things combining, there just is not a system in place. And I don't think that there's any other sports at any level that are like this, that really you every year can opt into free agency, really twice a year. And I was just thinking on a plane ride over here, what if you had that in other sports? Tom Brady, Asia Wilson, Lionel Messi, LeBron James. What if every year those guys can opt into free agency twice a year, really, and they got no long-term contracts? Basically, everybody's not even on a one-month contract because they can leave in 2 windows. So it's just created a lot of issues, and these roster changes, and I'm not complaining about it because we take advantage, obviously, of free agency, but at the same time, I don't think that's really good for college football. These massive overhauls of rosters every year really is not in the best interest of college football. And then when you add the NIL at the same time, we've created, I've said it before, we got different caps and no luxury taxes. So now we got professional sports, because that really is what we are, what's been created now, and there's no caps on what guys can make or what teams' payrolls are. So when this first came out, it said, all right, basically whatever programs have the most aggressive boosters with the most money are going to get the players. And now we're adding some states that now you don't have to follow NCAA, and now the university can take their money and give it to the collective to give to the players. So now we really have pay for play that the biggest schools with the most donors, most aggressive, and the school wants to spend the most money paying the players for play to come to their school is where we're at. So there's kind of your State of the Union on the situation of what all coaches are dealing with around the country. And really a poor system that isn't getting better now is going to get worse with this because, again, now we just look at recruiting rankings and you're going to see that they usually are going to follow this, donor base and what schools are going to decide to give the most money to the players. So it is what it is. We'll deal with it like we do with everything else, but somehow it's got to get fixed because there's no system around it. So, we did a really neat thing this off season with mental health training for our staff. Myself, our coach's staff, everyone in our building went through a class. And I know at first people may think, okay, well, that's a good recruiting tool that you can say, hey, which I didn't even know at the time, we're the first staff to do this, that's trained in mental health. And be able to say that to parents in recruiting. That was not the motive at all. It really, when I talk about, creating a new box, not just thinking outside the box, and we do that in analytics, we do that in all areas, I feel like, in our program. We don't ever do anything because it's in that old book of how to coach and how to do things. In this mental health area, it really was not in that old school coaching book at all. It was just, hey, shut up and go practice and play, especially in the sport of football. So, just over the years of going through so many mental health issues with our players and coaches and not having tools and not having a really good system in place besides just sending them, across campus, to a mental health specialist. So I was excited to do that and just excited for the education with that and the ability to see things and help our players is really neat because they just go through so much. Players always have, but now because of the social media and every play, everywhere, everybody's seen every play, our players go through a lot. I mean, I remember they're kids, and they read all those things when fans or media say this play and they lost the game, and it's really challenging when you talk to the kids about how much that wears on them, as well as all the other issues they have to deal with. So that was pretty neat. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
Jake Thompson, the Ole Miss Spirit, laying the penalties and the end of the Tennessee kind of investigation with all that came out this past week. Obviously, your history with that program and other programs that kind of going through those penalties, just your thoughts on that overall.
That didn't take long. I got a lot of thoughts on that case and the case at USC and the case at Tennessee and the penalties and all that. And I'm not really going to get into that. We're here to talk about the Ole Miss team. Happy for Coach Heupel. I read where he was ecstatic about the penalties and the $8 million fine, so that kind of probably tells you about how severe the penalties are in their eyes. So I'm happy for them that they don't have to go through what we went through. So good for them.
Coach, we'll go into this middle section just to your right, second row.
Lane, hey, Joe Goodman, AL.com. I appreciated your candor on NAL. You're the czar of college football. How do you fix it? And that's the natural follow-up to your State of the Union.
Yeah, I don't like you know, it's like I tell our staff, I don't like you to tell me the problems but not the solution. So I feel like that in this one, that I don't have the exact solution because it is so complicated, and the commissioner, who's much more educated than I on these things, because I used to say they should be employees so they can have real contracts, so when you come, you know, you can sign somebody to a 2, 3, 4-year contract, you know, and but there's way more issues. You know, that solves one problem, like you said, but then it opens up 5, 10 more when they're actually employees of a university. So I don't have the exact answers. I've always said, when asked, shorten the windows, so at least we know what your roster is, and you know, not so many chances for players, because really, I mean, like I said, I like the players get paid, but there's no other system like it. Like the player, I've told our players, I've told our parents of our significant players, like, it is a great time to be a kid or a parent, okay, with where college football is. I'm like, they'll probably eventually fix this, so you will be this one window of a couple years where you literally can leverage your program every window, or you can go into free agency and find the most money out there. And now we're seeing you really get paid 3 times if you want to. You can get paid coming out of high school. You can one-time transfer, go in, get the most money, get paid again. Then you can grad transfer and get paid again. So eventually you're not going to be able to do that, I would think, and have that leverage basically every semester to do that. So I've told them it's an awesome time for them.
Coach will stay in the same section over on the right-hand side, right aisle, second row.
Hey Lane, Andy Witchery with On3. The Grove Collective is one of the 7 that's formed a collective association, and they plan on introducing a revenue sharing bill, or a model rather. So similar to the last question, what are your thoughts on potential revenue sharing in the future?
Okay, that mic went a little bit in and out there. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, the collective at Ole Miss is one of 7 that has formed a collective association, and they plan to introduce a revenue sharing model in the near future. What are your thoughts on a potential revenue sharing model for college football players?
Yeah, I mean, I think there, again, almost like everything on this subject, there's good and bad to everything that comes in. I think that revenue sharing, you know, on the surface would be great because the players are getting paid and it's coming from the money they're helping make the university. But again, I kind of try to think things through, and the other things that happen when you do something, just like when everybody was like, oh, we got this NIL, it's great, and you know, in this portal, it's great. Oh, whoa. Like, and I'm not saying I was the only one saying, I'm like, whoa, this is a disaster coming because you just legalized cheating. And you just told donors they can pay the players. That's what you did. And then, you know, it's supposed to be set up, well, it's really for your name, image, likeness, for your marketing. Again, that's not what happened. That's not what's happening. They're getting paid to go to school, so it's pay for play. So the revenue sharing sounds really good, but then they're like, okay, well, we're going to revenue share, and then that's all they get. And I said, well, okay, well, wait. But then they're still going to have NIL, which really isn't NIL for probably 99% of the kids. They're not really getting the money for their marketing rights. So then revenue sharing would be good, but then you're still going to have this. So they say, well, revenue sharing would make it an equal playing field, which is what Insta always wants to do, make things equal playing field. Well, obviously, is what we described, with no salary cap and everybody operating off of different budgets. That's not anywhere close. So I don't know that fixes it. It sounds good, but then you're still going to have, here's your revenue sharing pot that everybody's the same, but then here you're still going to have all this other money that donors can go give players, or the way it is now, in some states, the school just funnels the money to the players.
Coach will go over here to our left on the near aisle.
Good morning, Coach. Johnny Ballpark Franks with Franks Media here in Nashville and Huntsville. You know, for decades, head coaches have been reminding players, don't do anything to embarrass themselves, their family, teammates, and the university. Now in this new college football world that we see with NIL, the transfer portal, how much more difficult is it for a head coach to get that message across, not just to the student athletes, but also to staff members as well?
Well, I think that's always challenging. I think the challenge now is everything they do is public, so anything they do that maybe years ago, because the cell phone videos and everything, didn't get out there, that basically you've got to figure that someone's watching in everything you do all the time. So it is more challenging for these guys. That is a great thing. One of the few things that are great about cell phones is that, actually, because now the players are held more accountable in everything that they do. So in that way, it's gotten easier.
Coach, we'll go straight in front of you, fourth row.
Hey, Coach Otmore Richardson from OrangeBloods.com. Coach, you and Steve Sarkisian are obviously really good friends. I want to see if you can tell me maybe how that friendship formed, if you have any good Lane Kiffin stories about that friendship, and, of course, your thoughts on Texas joining the SEC.
Well, it's Texas, Oklahoma. I'll go backwards there. Texas, Oklahoma coming in is amazing. I mean, I already look at our schedule, or like when they put out the one for 2024, and I actually joked to Steve Sarkisian yesterday about the scheduling, and I was like, well, I don't know any coach who want to go to the NFL. Like, we're in it now. So, I mean, our schedule's like playing the NFL in the SEC now, especially adding those two. So, hats off to the commissioner for getting that done and making the super conference of all time. And really, the way it's set up, it's really like it's kind of everybody else and then that. When you put together the competitiveness of the schedule compared to any other conference. I've had a great relationship with Sark. I've kind of said before, we kind of both grew up fast by being the USC experience and being part of Coach Carroll's staff and all the great players there. And, I think 34 straight wins, and if we can tackle Vince Young, 3 straight national championships. So that was really cool to go through that with him. And then we've just always stayed close. I think he's doing awesome there. And, the way he's flipped the roster and recruiting at such a high level and signing Arch, I think the future is extremely bright for Texas football.
Coach, we'll go to this middle section to our right on the front row, on the right out.
Coach Dan Harrelson, Vollswire. Brian Kelly mentioned this week about artificial intelligence having intriguing opportunities in recruiting in the future. What is your opinion on that? And really just not recruiting, like you said, the transfer portal to keep forming a roster each offseason to find the best players that matches what you want to look for on the recruiting trail and in the portal.
Well, I'm the first to say up here, like when I know a lot about an area, I'm going to answer. If I don't, I don't. So the artificial intelligence and using that in recruiting, I don't know about all that. So I can give you coach speak and pretend that I do. But the other part, what was the other part about?
Just to form a roster
Yeah,
based off the model of a player that you're actually looking for.
Yeah, so the challenge on the roster is because of the different windows that you don't know what you have, you don't know what you're losing. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, imagine in professional sports, really I'm going to give you another window because grad transfers can still leave. They can leave in training camp. So imagine like in professional sports, which again we are, so as far as it is with players, that you're coaching a player in camp and then they go, you know what, I don't like the way you're coaching me. I've graduated, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go play for another team. And teams know that. I mean, people pre-portal, and they know who's going in. They know who's graduated. So you're really dealing with that too, and that messes kids up. I say like, it's really challenging for a kid. He's working out with his team in the off season, but then other schools are calling him about going there, and him being fully invested when, hey, the strength coach yells at me, or I don't like where I am on the depth chart, and I can leave. That's not really a good setup, and there's a reason. I feel like in college sports, we usually always look at professional sports as like, okay, let's learn. They're usually ahead of us, when it comes to systems and rules of the play, on game day. So we usually copy them, and in this situation, it's like they have this model that works about free agency windows, about long-term contracts. Again, like I said, look at all those great players. They just leave at any time during training camp, and for whatever reason, our model is not at all near theirs. So it's very difficult, and you got dynamics in locker rooms too. Again, these players talk, they know what players get paid, and you got dynamics around the country. Well, wait, I've been here, I've made these plays, and that guy just got here and he's going to make more money than me. So, again, not a good setup.
Coach, we'll go right in front of you, third row. Kirk.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. You mentioned boosters and the most aggressive and richest boosters that will get the players. Where does Ole Miss boosters rank, relatively speaking, in the SEC? And could you name 2 or 3 of your most impactful transfers you got?
I am not about to start putting rankings out on boosters from top to bottom in the conference. God, I want to so bad, though. The commissioner said, remember, we've grown a lot, and you don't have to respond to every question, to show everybody you have the answer. So I'm gonna do that on this situation. But like I said kind of before, you want to look at the best booster in the country, and eventually the schools that have the most money that decide to pay the players the most. Just look at recruiting rankings the next few years, and that'll give you your answer. Because again, it is what it is, guys, and you can't fault them. You got 18-year-old kids deciding where to go. The number one thing they decide on is money, their salary. I mean, I think you guys would have done that when you're 18. So, I mean, you can't fault them. That's why you see some kids going, why is that kid going way over there? Well, he's going there because he's making more money. So, you can't fault them for that. That's the setup that they're in. We have so many transfers coming in at so many different spots. It would be hard to single guys out. So it just is what it is nowadays. I mean, we look out there, and there's times that, we joke and we pause the film and go okay, well, there's, we're still learning names, but we know schools. We're like, well, there's a receiver from that school, there's a tight end from that, there's a receiver from that, the quarterbacks, USC, the running backs, SMU, and you end up going wait, our whole skill roster was from some other school, like we're an NFL team, we drafted them from somewhere.
And we have time for 2 quick ones. We'll start over here on the right, front row. There you go.
Evelyn Van Pelt with the Rebel Walk. You talked about it just a minute ago with the NIL and the locker room. How do you handle any kind of potential dissension? Because you're right, the players do know he makes this much and I make this much.
Yeah, the question is about handling the locker room with NIL issues and the players getting paid different, And I try to teach our guys real life, and we say pro mindset, we have a pro mindset about how we run the program with guys and our expectations. So I get it, because they come in complaining. I've been here, I transferred here, and now this guy, we hear this guy's going to make more money than me. And I said, you know what? I'm not saying it's fair, but get ready, that's life. That's going to happen. You're going to be in the NFL locker room, and you signed a contract, and this new guy, or you got drafted in the 4th round, and this new guy coming in, you're playing ahead of him, and he makes more money than you. And sorry to say, you want the real truth? I give them, it depends when you went in. Guys make more now than when they went in the portal a year or 2 ago. And then they used up their one-time transfer. So I'm like, hey, I'm just teaching you how life works. It is what it is. You used your window. You don't have the leverage now to go in, until you graduate, because you can't go in a second time. So there's the truth of what really happens. But I teach them, hey, you basically signed a contract, even though you don't have a real contract. You're here to play. You accepted whatever the terms are that you and the collective did. So go play and then figure it out after the season. My dad used to say that to coaches in his first meeting of the year. Hey guys, quit worrying about your contracts or whatever you sign, it is what it is. Let's get together, let's play really well, let's coach really well, and then worry about that in the off season. So that's what I tell them now. The best way you make more money is to play really well.
Coach, we'll take one final question right in front of me, second row.
Yes. Coach Kiffin, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I remember vividly seeing a picture of you sitting in the stands at Pike Road High School watching Quinshon Judkins. You had TJ Yeldon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris. What did you see in Quinshon that you thought was special, and how much better can he get?
Well, Quinshon is really special. I mean, think about what he did as a freshman, to come in and have that workload. I think he led the SEC in carries and yards and touchdowns as a freshman. So, and like any freshman, you can get a lot better in year two. We're able to get Kevin Smith, coach back from Miami that's been with us before. And so I think that that's really beneficial for him to have him, someone that's also was a great college player, that's gone through all this hype and that comes with it, because that's his biggest challenge is his footwork and his pass protection. Even though he's really mature and a great kid, guys, these kids are young, and now they're getting all that attention around the country. They're the best player, all the rat poison from your coach. And now they got money. So now it's kind of like, whoa, you talk about ego coming in. I mean, so this is a lot of challenges on these kids. Again, it's great they get paid, but here's a whole new set of challenge because a big motivation for a lot of players is to get to the NFL to get money. Well, now they already have money. So there's a lot of challenges in here in dealing with ego, which is really dangerous.
Coach, thank you for your time this morning.
All right, guys, thanks. Have a good day.
All right, welcome back. That was Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin addressing the media, making the Ole Miss Rebels on the clock, if you would speak, here at SEC Media Days. Rebels will be making the round. That'll lead into South Carolina and head coach Shane Beamer, and then Josh Heupel will wrap things up later this afternoon. We are expecting at 10:30 to hear from South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer. And then Josh Heupel, we will hear from him later this afternoon at 12 o'clock. That'll be Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel. It's 9:38. Let's get a break in. More talking ball from SEC Media Days inside the Grand Hyatt Hotel in downtown Nashville, courtesy of Bill Penny Toyota, coming your way next.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway
Or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talent Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on the same day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear, give Talent Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talent Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talent Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talent Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drudy Arman back with you. We're going to be with you until 10 o'clock. And Lane Kiffin just getting done meeting with the media. You heard that entire conversation right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And each coach speaks for 30, 35 minutes, not 12. But each coach speaking for about 35, 40 minutes. And Lane Kiffin's, what'd you say, 36 minutes? So 30
NIL conversation.
34, 35 minutes of that was directed towards NIL.
Right.
And NIL is in the news at this moment because our good friend Ross Dellinger,
Yeah, he's been here this week,
who writes for Yahoo Sports.
He's moved from Sports Illustrated,
just put it out literally right before Lane Kiffin spoke that U.S. Senator, 3 U.S. Senators, a Republican and 2 Democrats, Senators Richard Blumenthal, Jerry Moran, and Cory Booker, are partnering together to call what they call the College Athletes Protection and Compensation Act. This is going to be a bill. This is going to be a draft that they want to send in there to be a bill. It's a draft they're describing it as a milestone step forward for college athletes. And here's what it would do. It would preempt most, if not all, state NIL laws. So this would trump all the state laws.
Yeah.
It creates an NIL database for transparency. It
know
grants,
what they get paid.
Yep. It grants the NCAA authority to create rules to enforce provisions in the act while affording the association a degree of legal protection. Athletes, meanwhile, would follow fairly permissive NIL rules. They would receive lifetime scholarships, long-term medical coverage through both their schools, as well as an established medical trust. The act does not address athlete employment, which is exactly what Lane Kiffin talked about in there just a minute ago. A festering issue with college leaders. Some athletes they're fighting against, both an ongoing court case in Pennsylvania. So anyway, that is why a lot of what Lane Kiffin was talking about was NIL, because literally he was running behind. This broke, and this came out literally right before Lane Kiffin walked on the stage.
Yeah, it came out this morning, and that's a huge step forward in the process. And I think it's what Lane was referring to with that coaches are worried about.
Yeah.
They want some uniformity for it, but as he said, he was telling his parents of his prominent players, you want to take advantage of this because it's probably not going to be this way in 2 years. So I'm not putting any blame on you at all. Get what you need to get, but this is not going to be sustainable. Nick Saban has said the same thing. It can't sustain itself when there's no transparency in what you're getting. And as Lane said, he was very forthcoming in saying that he has to have meetings with players all the time. Like, And that's what I talked about. Like, A&M had the horrible chemistry because of it. Like, I've been making plays here. I'm Devon A-Chain. Why is, Evan Stewart, for example, coming in here with a supposedly huge NIL deal, probably making more money than he's making? I mean, it creates division, and it creates a caste system in your locker room, and Nick Saban has talked about not wanting to have that. In other words, you don't have to deal with that, and they want some uniformity so you don't have to.
Well, now here is the key. This is an act, okay? It's only a draft right now.
Right,
it's not been introduced to Congress.
No, yeah.
Now, the timing of the final draft in bill is not clear, says Ross Dellinger. But the next few weeks, he says, are very, very critical because they've got to get this in before lawmakers leave for their annual summer break in August. So we are July 20th right now. Congress is going to leave in August for this break. They've got roughly 11 days to try to get this in there on the floor to become a bill. So
I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. Yeah.
Man, those are great. Great. Schoolhouse Rock. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, more Talking Ball live from the Grand Hyatt SEC Media Days, Day 4, our final segment of the week. Coming up next.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Thomas from Talon Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC, give Talon Heating and Air a call.
That's right. If you give us a call, we can generally get out there the same day. So we pride ourselves on the same-day service.
And what's that number?
256-503-4490.
And if those AC units are giving you the blues and you've already called someone else, never fear, give Talon Heating and Air a call because you guys can still come out.
That's right. We do free second opinions on major repairs and quotes. A lot of times we save our customers thousands of dollars and additionally get their units repaired before the other guy could even get started.
And that number for Talon Heating and Air is?
256-503-4490.
And if you can't give Talon Heating and Air a call, you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Schedule all your appointment service calls there. Talon Heating and Air. Give them a call or find them online today.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Yeah, big thanks to Bill Penny Toyota. Look,
huge.
It's kind of odd having to mention 2 car dealerships at the same time, but we also got to thank our good friend Arthur Seaton, Viking Arthur, or Indiana Arthur. We got to thank him because without them, we wouldn't be here, and that is because
our dial of destiny is Nashville.
University Kia was kind enough to provide us the vehicle.
G.I. Joe.
Yep, the official transportation providers for us this week has been University Kia. And here's the thing, I mean, we parked the tank on Monday, and we haven't seen her since.
We've seen Uber.
We've seen an Uber. Well, that's because when your lot to park in is $45 a day, or you can park for free, you take an Uber.
Uber.
And
absolutely.
you
walk.
Or you walk
from the great restaurant all the way home.
Just so people know, it was only 0.6 tenths of a mile.
Well, for those walking uphill like myself, it felt like it was longer.
And then when we walked to the Gumbo Brothers, it ended up being 0.7.
We've had some really good food.
Oh boy. We told everybody coming up here that we were going to have some good food.
And we didn't even get to your place that Tunner Royer was telling us about.
Mendel's. Yeah, we didn't even get there because we wanted to. We really did. It was closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then Monday, we were rocking and rolling in the afternoon. We didn't leave here till late. Tuesday, we did not leave here till late. But we did eat what the conference fed us on Monday night, I believe. We went over. Was it? Yeah. No. Yeah. It was Monday night.
I wasn't there with you guys because I was in a coma.
Because the train. Because
the train is coming.
The train came on.
The tracks.
The train came on Sunday night, and did not leave until early Monday morning.
I was in prison for a night.
We all were in the prison.
But you were already used to it, man.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Some of us were able to adjust easier, so to speak. But it has been a fantastic 4 days. We've had some great guests. We've had some great food. We've learned a lot about all of these teams, and we're going to learn more about South Carolina. We're going to learn more about Tennessee because they come up later this afternoon. But we've learned a lot about 12 of the 14 SEC schools. And, I mean, what do we know about Alabama? What do we know about Auburn? Do we know anything more about those two heading into fall camp than what we did before we got here?
I think we were on top of it. I mean, Alabama's got a quarterback battle that's got to play itself out.
Yep.
They've got to, they've got to get better along the defensive line. Auburn has just got so many new guys. They've got to let the quarterback room play itself out. They got to get Jarquez Hunter back on the field because, again, his future is, I think, we expect him back, but we haven't heard an announcement. As Hugh Freeze said, that's up to university policy.
Yep.
So we'll see that. And so certainly we don't know a lot about Auburn yet, what they're going to look like until we watch them play. Because a lot like Lane Kiffin, Lane said they've got 40 new guys. That's basically what Ole Miss has got. So it's a new Auburn football team, new systems on both sides of the ball. So until we see them, and we see them go play against Justin Wilcox and those guys from Cal, we're not going to know a lot about Auburn. But Alabama, I think we feel like what we know they're going to look like. It's going to be a little different offensively, but I think they're going to be more run heavy, still spread. But let's see how do they look fundamentally under Kevin Steele? Are they cutting the penalties out? Are they tackling better? Are they being more physical up front? Are they stopping the friggin' run? That's what you got to do is stop the friggin' run. If you can't stop the friggin' run, you're the worst four-letter word in football.
Oh, can I do it? Can I do it?
Go ahead.
S-O-F-T.
Soft.
Did I do it right?
Right.
Oh, I'm good.
I mean, come on.
I'm learning.
And their two losses, Alabama was soft.
Okay.
I mean, they could not stop LSU with the run.
Right.
And Tennessee had 180-plus yards. You cannot do that against really good football teams and win.
I tell you what, you're right. And it's not a recipe that has not been cooked and served over the years in the Southeastern Conference. But that's one thing we've heard over and over and over again, I think, here from the coaches, from other players and everything, is that in the Southeastern Conference, you have to be able to run the ball and you have to be able to stop the run.
Yeah,
if you can't do any of that, then it doesn't matter if you can throw the ball 500 times and complete 500 passes. the chances of you getting wins are slim.
They are. You've got to be, and to force turnovers like Roman Harper.
Yes.
That was such a great conversation that we had.
He's
at
spoken
the top
good, didn't he?
in an hour or two, and about forcing turnovers, being disruptive. As he said when they talked to Nick Saban on the set of the SEC Network yesterday, Nick Saban lit up because he knows they've got to be more disruptive. They've got to be, more. They've got to ball hawk more, like 2016 when Jeremy Pruitt was there. They scored so many touchdowns on defense, and so they've got to do that. They've got to be better. But this has been a great week. We want to thank Bill Penny Toyota again, Scott, all our great sponsors this week.
Well, we got to thank Bryant Bank. We got to thank Sports Med. We got to thank University Kia. We got to thank Bill Penny. And we got to thank our good friends over at Talon Heating and Air. I don't know
Heary.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know they didn't put the air in here.
Yeah.
Because if they did, I wouldn't be so darn cold all week.
Well, I wouldn't have had a river upstairs, but that's another story for another day. We already had a morbid one to start the show. Oh, this is just another funny one.
Yes, we did. 4 a.m. wake-up calls. Because something woke you up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Tasted awful good the night before.
Well, maybe it was the gumbo 2 nights in a row.
I don't know, man. I smelled some peppercorn.
I'm wondering what's for lunch.
I did.